Are we recording? Perfect. You guys have no idea the hoops I had to jump through to make this. I have a special video today where I am comparing every minifigure scale Lego Great Hall. And these are the complete sets that each Great Hall comes in. I don't have minifigures or like little like boats or anything like that in this, but just considering the castle, this here is 5 different Lego Harry Potter sets released in 2001 right here, 2010 right here, 2018 the gray roof in the back right over here, 2021 is this one right here, these two, and then in the back over here I have the new 2024. Now, considering that I'm talking about Great Halls, I can get rid of the vast majority of this so I'm not clogging up the frame, but you know, I just wanted to show you what each set looked like in its entirety, all bunched together because it looks cool. That's all there is to it. Alright, well, let's put some of this stuff away. Alright, isn't that just a little bit more manageable? Again, we have 2001 right here, 2010, 2018, 2022, and 2024 back there. So, I'm kind of going to go through these one at a time. We're going to go in order of release, and then I will kind of give them a ranking based off of, one, how they hold up like today, and 2, kind of how they were at the time of release. What kind of the expectations were at the time, or at least what my expectations would have been at the time, because I wasn't born for this guy, so I don't really know. Yep. So my grading system will be the Harry Potter grade system, because come on, we're talking about Harry Potter here. You have outstanding, exceeds expectations, and acceptable as passing, and then you have poor, dreadful, and troll as your failing grades. Alright. Alright. 2001. The first thing to note about this particular Great Hall is it has the cliffside at the bottom, which is something that the next 2 Great Halls won't do, but it will be brought back in 2021, which it's something that I prefer, having the cliffside at the bottom, because it gives you a lot of space to do something interesting with it. All these Great Halls do something different with it, but this one, it introduced such a great concept that wasn't used in the next 2, and I think it deserves credit for that. So I'm going to turn it around and you can see the back. Now, the thing about 2001 that is really special that none of the others do is they built the Great Hall itself down into the basement, like basically down into the cliffside. The effect this has is making the ceiling very high and great, like it's shown in the films, and not necessarily described in the books, but kind of. So that's honestly something that's really cool that I do kind of wish they did more, especially with 2021. I don't dislike what they did, which I'll show you when we get to that, but honestly, if they would have built the hall itself down into the basement with that massive base, it would be amazing. I'll talk more about that once we get to it, but that's a great idea that the first one had, and it's never been done again, which I think is disappointing. So another thing to note in the first one is they only have one house table. They have one bench and one house table. That's it. And that is honestly fairly disappointing to me, because as we all know, there are 4 houses. Now, if if Lego really wanted to cut them down, I could understand them having 2 tables, one for Gryffindor and one for Slytherin, because those are the two big houses, at least in the movies and books, but one is just not enough. Even in the first, like, this was based off of the first film because that's the only one that had been out at the time, and I think this was in development before the movie was released, because this set also includes Peeves, who was not in the film, but there were scenes filmed for him. So I think this was designed first, before the film came out. I will show on screen if that's true or not. So yeah. This set has a fireplace, though it's not lit. It has an amazing Dumbledore chocolate frog card, something that we were going to start getting again with the 2021 wave, although they weren't shiny like this, and they weren't stickers either, which is nice. But no, it's pretty cool and unique for this one. Now, what else is there to note? It has the ability to choose between Slytherin and Gryffindor house banners, and that's another thing that has to do with the one table. Why do you only have one table if you have both of the two big houses as for their banners? One last thing to note, this isn't very important, but the roof, it's not a built roof. It is basically some paper. It's more like a plasticky cardstock, but yeah, interesting. Overall, at the time, I would rank this as probably an exceeds expectations. The only thing holding it back at the time was the lack of two tables. That's pretty much all that I have to say on that at the time. And because you need to understand, like, at the time, this was the second non-Lego IP that was used, and the first being Star Wars. So it was a very new idea, and Star Wars at the time was Star Wars. It was massive. Harry Potter, while the books were popular, they weren't Star Wars size. And so this was a big risk, and Lego did very well with it. So exceeds expectations at the time. It's kind of hard to describe how it holds up today without having shown you the newer three, but I'm going to call this probably a poor by today's standards, because just like, you don't have windows, you don't have any like panes, you just kind of have it open. It's really like drippy looking. It doesn't look very much like a hall. It looks very much craggly and like fortressy, which isn't a bad thing, because at least the theory is that that's what Hogwarts was at one point in its creation, because it is a castle, not a school. So it makes sense that it would be fortressy, but it's not how it looks in the movies, and this is based off of the movies, though we can all agree the books are superior. So yeah, today, the one house table I'd say is probably even worse today than it was back then. The chair, no one can sit in it. It's only two studs, and yeah, honestly, I'd call it a poor by today's standards, but when you look at it with the lens of the time, definitely it exceeds expectations. Jumping forward 9 years, we have 2010's Hogwarts Castle. This came with a Great Hall as well. There were multiple sets in between the 2010 Hogwarts Castle and the 2001 Hogwarts Castle that were called Hogwarts Castle. The only thing about that is none of them included a Great Hall. They were releasing Lego Harry Potter sets to coincide with the movies each year up until Half-Blood Prince? Yeah, Half-Blood Prince, which they didn't release one for, and then they kind of soft rebooted the entire Lego franchise as a whole for 2010 with the release of Deathly Hallows Part 1 and then Deathly Hallows Part 2 the next year. With the series reboot came a new Great Hall. And this one is very hard for me. It might be my favorite, and it might just be my least favorite. It's one or the other. I don't know which. It is nice and compact. It looks great from the outside. It looks very cathedral-like, and honestly, to me, that is amazing. I love how it looks. And we're gonna stay on the outside for a bit because the inside is not as good. So we're gonna talk about the exterior for a bit. Just let's get some good in before we go into the, okay, I don't want to call it bad, but wonky. It's weird. The inside is weird. So for a little standalone single module, unlike 2024, this does a very good job. It really gets the proportions right, which is something 2018 will not do quite so well. Come on, look at this. This is the definition of improvement. So I want to talk about this little window convex thing for a little while because it's very important. Hogwarts just had, like Hogwarts Castle, if you look at it in Hogwarts Legacy, if you look at it in the films, it doesn't matter. It has this little exterior window thing. All right? And the staff table will be like right here behind this pillar. Okay? If you look at 2018, it has it. Has it right there. 2001 and 2021 don't have this because just the construction of the sets in general, like they weren't going for quite as detailed. They weren't as detail oriented as these three, the 2010, 2018, and 2024. Those are more like details on the outside focused, whereas 2001 and 2021 are more details on the inside focused. So I'm not counting those. These two are way more dollhouse-like. So I'm not talking about those right now. But 2024, if I can rotate it a bit, it's big, so we'll see how well that works. It has this exterior window as well. Now, why does that matter? Because this window right behind the staff table. Now the inside of this did something really weird. What they do is they basically completely change the scale of the inside versus the outside. The outside would imply that the interior should be about the scale of 2021's, which I'll show you later. But what they wanted to do is make it a lot more to the scale of 2018's, which I'll also show you later. Maybe I should have done this backwards. Well, doesn't matter. They did massively increase the scale here. We have 2 house tables and 2 banners to fit it. So we have the Slytherin table clearly and the Gryffindor table. So that is nice. I do like that we have 2 tables and we have 4 benches. So if you really wanted, you could have like Hufflepuff, Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw. Although it actually be Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, Slytherin, I think. But whatever, it doesn't matter. They have enough benches at least that you can have all 4 houses, and that's, I think, the bare minimum. You need to have enough benches whether or not you have enough tables. So okay, I like that. I really do like the headmaster podium. I like the chairs that they have, but the way they have the window back here, like on the inside, this window is technically this window or what this window would be on the outside. I don't know. It's weird. Oh man, from the outside, this is a 10 out of 10 from the outside. From the inside, like the interior itself is also like 10 out of 10. Well, there are only 2 tables, so probably like a 8 out of 10, but okay. But rotating the hall like this makes it feels wrong. Just looking at it, it feels wrong. It feels like there's something wrong with this. Now, I've said that I don't like this. Maybe it doesn't bother you as much as it does me. That's fine. This is literally just so that you guys can see the difference, because I have all 5, and I don't think I've seen anyone else on YouTube that at least has a video of all 5 comparing just the Great Halls. So that's what this video is to like compare it for you guys to see. I'm just sharing my opinions because I'm the one making the video. So I will say there is one benefit to doing it this way, and it's one thing that I do like. So the Great Hall canonically has a door to the side of it, technically leading to a little entry hallway, but whatever, I don't care. It has a door like to the front side of it. You have it here, you have it here. Now this Great Hall, when you rotate it 90 degrees, you have a door here now, which is also technically canon. It leads to where the little chamber off to the side where the champions go in Goblet of Fire. And I don't dislike that. That's the thing about this. I don't like how it looks, but it is so clever what they did that I can't hate it. That's the problem. I think it looks stupid, but man, it's so clever. It is. I love the cleverness. I hate how it looks. That's what I have to say about it. I'll shut up now. I'm being too critical. This overall is very good. At the time, this gets an outstanding, because like if you compare it to 20 or 2001, like yeah, this is just so much better. That 9 years of Lego like set building experience, it shows so well on this set. So I'm giving this an outstanding in for the time. And today I wouldn't give this an outstanding, because I think the tables are just a little bit too short and the like staff area is a bit too big. That feels weird. The scaling is a lot better on all 3 newer ones, so I think that doesn't hold up quite as well, but I do like the fact that they've improved so much. So when I look at it as a leap from 2001 to 2010, it is perfect. There is nothing more I could have asked for. But today I'm going to have to give this probably an exceeds expectations, because it's been longer since this came out than the difference from this to this, and you don't see as much of a leap from this to, I guess, 2018. That's the closest leap between like the jump from this one to this one is relatively similar as this one to this one. So you don't see as much of a difference between this one and this one as you do from this one to this one. So I'm going to have to say, in like today, it holds up as an exceeds expectations, maybe. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Exceeds expectations by holding up today. So that's what I have to say about 2010. It's when it's on my shelf and it's sitting just like this and I can see it, especially when it has the rest of the castle connected to it, it is probably my favorite Great Hall. I mean, aside from 2024, that it's not a competition when it comes to outside, like to exteriors. When it comes to this one is just, it's just that much better. But like with these four, I'd say this one is my favorite exterior because I just love how it looks. It looks like a cathedral, like it's supposed to, instead of this one looks like a droopy fortress. This one looks just too squat. The proportions on the exterior are just weird. And then this one, well, we'll get to this one. This one is just that. If you thought I was complaining about this one, wait till I get to this one. Let's move on to 2018. Let's get some good in the video. If in 2018 you said this was the best Great Hall we ever got or would get, I would not disagree. This thing is gorgeous as a set. I've already said I don't like the squattier proportions of this thing. If you look at literally any of the other relatively new Great Halls, this one's windows stretch so close to the ground relative to all the others. It's kind of squatty and dumpy looking, like in Order of the Phoenix, when they describe Professor Umbridge as looking like squatty like a toad. I hate to say it, but I kind of describe this thing the same way. It's squatty and short, and it's too long for its height. It doesn't seem very grand or great from the exterior. But that's the exterior. The interior speaks a completely different story. Like, whew, that's good. Now, before I get too deep into the interior, I do want to kind of go through this castle, starting from like the outside and then moving in. So you kind of, I gave you like a general idea of how it looks, but now I want to actually dive deep into how things look a bit closer up. We have a tiny little imitation of the boat dock right here, and this part is so freaking annoying to me because it falls off all the time. This thing just will not stay on. You pick it up and it falls right off, and it tears half the courtyard down with it. Considering this is a ground level Great Hall, this is fine. It's fine to include like kind of just a little weird pier thing. Okay, I can understand that. 2024 solves this issue with their staircase, but we aren't there yet. So I don't mind that. It just is annoying because it keeps breaking off. This is a very solid footprint, except for this. This thing will fall off all the time. All the time. Now, moving forward into the courtyard a bit, I like this enough. The courtyard itself isn't acceptable. it does enough to say that there is supposed to be a courtyard here, and it looks like a scaled down version of what the courtyard should look like, and that's it. That's what it does. And you know, okay, that's fine. If that's what they wanted to do, this is a toy. This is not a beautiful like display model, because if you remember in 2018 they released the like minifigure scale dollhouse kind of Hogwarts sets, and then they also released the massive figure scale Hogwarts Castle. So this one had competition in a way that none of the others have, and I need to look at that from the time, as if that would change the grade. This thing is an outstanding. I'm just going to start with that. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying that right now. This is an outstanding from the time. The interior is very good, and the reason I kept bringing up the house tables needing 4, this is why. This is why I think the 4 house tables works, because they fit 4 house tables in here. Technically it's in the wrong orientation. Technically it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, like long ways, but you know, I don't care. I don't care. This is a minifigure scale thing. Minifigures are big, and they fit 4 tables in this thing, and that is worthy of celebrating, because come on, just look at this. It's gorgeous on the inside. They have the fireplace just like 2001. 2010 wasn't able to have it because of the weird 90-degree rotation thing, and man, they have a proper staff table that can hold more than 1 staff member, because like 2001 they had a staff table that was below the feet of the 1 staff member that you could fit. So this one has space for 3 staff, which if you added more chairs, you might, if you added more of your own like seat pieces, you might be able to fit an extra 2 chairs, but whatever. Like 3 is perfectly acceptable. And it has the house cup in the back, the banners, like you can have all 4 houses. They're technically on display. It's just you can only see 2 from the outside, but they're here in the middle of the table. So clearly, by how this logic works, this is the Slytherin table, this is the Ravenclaw table, this is the Gryffindor, and this is the Hufflepuff. So it's really cool. You can display all 4 houses. I also do want to say, when this 2018 wave started coming out, we started getting more robed students. Back in the days of 2001 and 2010, we were only ever really getting Gryffindors and Slytherins, but now we started getting Ravenclaws and Hufflepuffs, which is very good because I am a Hufflepuff, so I want representation. Speaking of representation, they went with the movie colors for Ravenclaw's banner, which is sad. It is based off of the movie, so I can only fault them so much, but it's sad. I'm sorry, Ravenclaws. For those of you who don't know, in the movies, the Ravenclaw colors are blue and silver. In the books, they're described as blue and bronze. So, yeah, that's just a little sad. I'm sorry, Ravenclaws. I'm sorry that you don't have the proper representation, but I can't do anything about it, so I'm sorry. What else is there to say about this? Nothing really. It's honestly probably perfect. It made an outstanding back in the day when it released, by my reckoning, and today I would give it an, well, I want to give it an outstanding, but there are just a couple small things that hold it back from an outstanding. And one of them is the floating candles, because they're not floating. They're on a black spindly thing. They were going for so much accuracy by including all 4 house banners, having the staff table, having the house cup, like the fireplace. Yep, it's there. They even have the freaking statues that guard the gate. Like, seriously, they have the freaking statues, yet the candles are not floating. They're on a black beam. Like 2001 got this right. 2001 was able to do it. 2001 had floating candles. 2010, they had a funky chandelier thing, but considering the rotation of the hall, they couldn't really have floating candles unless they could have come off from the side. Whatever. I still don't like the interior of this very much, so we're just turn it around, show it from its good angle. And that's just what we're going to do from now on. Show it from its good side. 2018, I don't like that. And then, like, it doesn't really have anything going for it today other than the 4 house tables, because everything that this had going for it back in the day has either been done like as well as or better in 2021 or 2024. So I want to give this an outstanding, I really do. But between those two things, the floating candles and the fact that very little of this anymore is it's not really unique anymore. This is probably the plainest Great Hall. Oh man, it's hard to give it an outstanding, but it's also hard to give it an exceeds expectations, because this does more than exceeds expectations. This goes beyond that. Okay, I'll give this an outstanding. I will. Because, honestly, okay. Yeah, I'll give it an outstanding. Yeah. The floating candles, they're annoying. But just because it doesn't stand out from the new ones in anything really, doesn't necessarily make it bad. It doesn't need to stand out. This is technically a dollhouse type set from the inside. These all are. The interiors of all of these are basically just dollhouses. It's just the exteriors of 2024, 2018, and 2010 are better detailed. That's the only real difference, I suppose. So yes, I'll give 2018 an outstanding, both for the time and today. So yeah. Okay. Let's move on to 2021. This will be interesting. Okay. 2021. This one, like 2001, needs context. That's something you're going to hear a lot. This one, like this one, because these two are very, very similar. Despite being released 20 years apart, these two are eerily similar. It all starts with the year 2021. Being 20 years after this, it was the 20th anniversary of Lego Harry Potter. So Lego was doing something special. To talk about all the things that were special about this, we have to go and talk more about this one. So, what was a special thing about this that I never mentioned? Well, this set, 2001 Hogwarts Castle, was not the only set in this Harry Potter series. It may have been called Hogwarts Castle, but it had other sets. Now, these other sets would sometimes sit right next to it, although sometimes they would go below it, because this series was stackable. It was modular. You could literally like just stack it on top of each other. I don't have the sets to show you, because the set that came under this one, it released in 2002. It was the Chamber of Secrets. It sat right below this. And that was really cool. Lego was big into their modular buildings with these weird brick plate things around that time, from like 1999 to like 2003 or something like that. That's me just spitballing years. I have no proof to say that. That's me guessing. Now, being modular like this, they went for a very similar thing in 2021. And this is just as modular. You can lift it up, move it around, put it somewhere else if you really want. And yeah, they went for the same thing. Now, exterior wise, this is completely copying this. You have everything from like the torches on the outside to the cliff face below. You have the tower in the middle, in between the roofs, unlike every other Great Hall. Every other Great Hall, the tower is above the roofs. But not this one. This one, because this one did it first, put the tower in the middle. So that's something. You even have a little ugly rock piece. This may be the new version, and this may be the old version, but you have a little ugly rock piece, a lerp, in each one in the middle. They're very similar. Now on the inside, you see where the difference lies. See, this set was not called Hogwarts Castle, or even the Great Hall. It was called the Chamber of Secrets, because again, this set sat above the Chamber of Secrets. So this set basically combined this set and the Chamber of Secrets below it into one set. It was shorter, and it was more condensed, but it was basically combining two old sets, making one new set. Now, that is quite interesting to me, and at the same time is kind of a big detriment to this Great Hall specifically. I do like this castle system as a whole. I'll make a video about how this system works. It is quite cool. It's a modular system. You can build Hogwarts however you please, but the Great Hall suffers because it like the 2001 castle does not have a lot of floor space. They had to build out the Great Hall floor further just so that you could fit an extra table. And this one only has one bench, two tables. It went back to the old style of not enough tables or benches even. And that is not a good thing if you ask me. It had a podium that had an owl, so they were basing it off of Prisoner of Azkaban, I suppose. And honestly, I do like the simplistic design of the podium. It is quite good, but there's no seating for the staff. It's just tight. This whole Great Hall here is very close, and that's very obvious because, again, this set is the Chamber of Secrets, including the Great Hall, not the Great Hall including the Chamber of Secrets. Now this is only the second Chamber of Secrets we've ever gotten, the first being this one, and yeah, we've only gotten the 2. So I'm not going to complain about the Great Hall like being sidelined for the Chamber of Secrets. That's okay. So that's okay. It's just different. But we're comparing Great Halls here. So context at the time, this made sense. It just did. The set is called Chamber of Secrets, so focus is on the Chamber of Secrets. The Great Hall came with it. So at the time, I would give this an acceptable. I'd call this acceptable for the time. But today, now that we have the whole 2021 to 2023 series, the Great Hall just suffers. It just suffers. We have this massive room of requirement that I don't think anybody likes, but we have this tiny little Great Hall. The Great Hall is tiny, but the room of requirement, now that's a big thing. This just doesn't hold up as well. I'd give this a poor in today's like context, but at the time when it released, it made sense. I guess I actually didn't have as much to say about this one as I did 2010. Let me just say, I do dislike this one more than this one, but I guess I just don't have as much to say about it. My bad for dissing on 2010 so much. Man, you're actually looking pretty good right now relative to this one. I will say though, because this is a dollhouse and it was kind of just meant to connect to other things and not really meant to look detailed on the outside, the entryway to the Great Hall is kind of pathetic. It looks really, really dumb. You have an entry courtyard that looks kind of like this, it's just a little bit longer, and you just have an empty door. You've got nothing. You have the ugly Technic pins right there. It doesn't look very good sitting next to everything else that it sits next to. But I think that's a different video there, like a comparison between every Lego Hogwarts Castle or something, which I don't have all of, but I have a lot of, so I will make it. Not all of it will be like in my hands, but I can make that, and I think that'll be cool. But overall, yeah, this one hasn't aged all too well. I can go more in depth into comparisons between the two, but I think that should be a YouTube short maybe. I can make that another time. So yeah, let's move on to 2024, the big one. Is there really anything to say about this one that hasn't been said already? Probably not, because this thing is gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. It has a full, proper courtyard, a little bit smaller than I would personally like, but I don't really care. The proportions on the outside are just beautiful. Like it's just like the old 2010. Like look at this comparison here. The exteriors are basically the exact same type of proportion. It's a little bit longer, just a hint taller, but basically the exact same. It has a little staircase down to where the boathouse is, which is a separate set, but still it looks good as a standalone set. It's just good from the outside. There's very little to comment on. the double doors are smaller than 2018's. A lot of it is smaller than 2018's, but the proportions are better, so that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing that some of this stuff is smaller than 2018's, because the proportions are way better here. Alright, remember how I said I wished they did the same thing for 2024 as they did for 2001? This one? I wish they built this down here in the basement. I wish that so badly, because while the roof is tall enough, it's not like they'd be getting the same benefit as 2001's with that really tall roof. It would be a different benefit that they'd be getting here, but they would have so much more floor space. With this amount of basement down here, they could give us 4 house tables, incredibly long, stretching like the whole way, and we could get like all 4 house tables laid out properly. It could have happened. It really could have happened. And it's not like okay. Let me rewind a bit. Let me explain why the basement, they didn't do this. It's so that they could slide in these little modular bits, all right? Like this bathroom scene, slides in right there. This little portrait hallway slides in right there. And then the Hufflepuff common room, go Hufflepuff, finally getting representation, slides in right there. So this is the complete set here, with these 3 modulars, or modules, I should say, in it. Now, what I wish they did, not include these 2. Well, actually, maybe I should say not include these 2. Move these off to the side. Take the Hufflepuff, move it over here, where it belongs, because it does belong technically under the Great Hall, but come on, Hufflepuffs are a fourth of your Lego audience. You can kind of disregard their approximate location in this particular set of circumstances, and if you made one module that fit this area right here with these house tables sitting in it, that would be incredible. Now again, I don't want to say what they did here is bad. It's not bad. This is very good. This set is very good. I'm going to give it an outstanding in like time of release and today, because it's still 2024, so it still gets an outstanding. This is outstanding. It's just that I think they could have done more with it. Still outstanding, but I think there's a little bit more that could have been done that wasn't. I will say though, they have floating candles. They have the night sky, which is something that none of the others have done. They have the night sky. That's a very good thing. They have all 4 house banners, all displayed to the viewer this time, unlike 2018. They only have the 2 house tables. They only have 3 benches. 1 back there, 1 here, and 1 here. They don't have anything for the staff. They don't have any seating or anything. But it's still outstanding. Like, it's the exterior alone just makes this outstanding. I don't think there's anything more to say about it. It just is outstanding. Alright, so as a bit of a recap, we have 5 honestly all beautiful models. Just, they all have different pros and cons. This one had an amazing idea for the interior, and considering that this was only built based off of the book descriptions and a bit of concept art, it's amazing. This one's exterior is probably my favorite, like considering that it doesn't have the cliff below it to scale it properly. the stained glass windows, like, come on. Yes, it's technically supposed to have a clock like 2018 and 2024, but you know what? Oh well. The stained glass works. It looks beautiful. You can't deny it. 2018, it's just like all around, like, just good. Like, it's very, like, dollhouse playable. It has 4 tables. It has an excellent staff table area. This is probably the most well-rounded and therefore most basic Great Hall that we have. 2021 is great. Its modular system is, I'm not going to say it's unique because 2001 also did it, but they did better. The modular system here is way better than it was for 2001. It's just better. So you can actually truly just design your own Hogwarts with this. And then 2024 back there, they basically went the polar opposite direction of 2021, and it works just as well. Instead of having the most customizable one, you have the most detailed one, and it works just as well. It's not quite as, like, playable on the inside as 2018, although that's debatable because it's modular sections. Like, I just grabbed the Hufflepuff common room here because it's closest. Like, the fact that the scenes slide out and you can, like, kind of expand it and have a whole area to play in, actually that's arguable. But you know, they all have their pros, they all have their cons. Like, despite how big 2024 is, it doesn't have 4 house tables like 2018 does. 2018, the exterior is very squat, doesn't look the best. 2021, enough said. 2010, that, and then 2001, it just hasn't aged all that well because it's, you know, it's from 2001. But that's all I have for you guys today. If you like this review style of video instead of my normal speed build, I would very much appreciate it if you told me in the comments, because let me tell you, this is so much easier to make than a speed build. This particular take that I'm on right now is the second time that I've recorded this whole video. Some footage that you've seen will be from the previous take, and then some of it will be from the second take. And you know, I've filmed 2 of these videos in pretty much the same time that it would take to build about half of how long it took to build the Great Hall. That took me about 3 hours to do this. It took me just under 2 hours to film all of these, like two of these comparison videos. And the first take was longer than the second, so there's that. So yeah, if you guys prefer this, please tell me. I'm not saying I'll stop speed builds, but I just generally what I want with this Lego channel is to let you guys know what sets are out there and whether you guys might like to buy them or not. Gives you the option to figure out whether you should buy it or skip it. And reviews are easier to make, and I think they get across the same information. I'll still do speed builds, but those are actually very hard to make, especially my newer style with the stop motion. Back when it was just me building with my hands got in the way, but you know, it didn't take as long to build, or to make the video I should say, and build. But yeah, so please, if you like this video, please like and share and subscribe. I guess I'm changing my ending now, because I used to always say thanks for watching, like, and subscribe for more, but hey, we're trying something new. Let's end it in a new way. So long.